Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts. In today's video I'm making another envelope style box. This one, rather than having a gift box element, this flap folds down to reveal a gift card holder set in the front. This box is 6 inches wide and this one is actually 1 inch deep. So let's put the project together. I'll start by giving you the measurements for all of the pieces. And the first will be for the back panel, and this is 6 by 8.5. Along the 6 inch side, make a pencil mark at 3 inches at the top, rotate 90 degrees, and on one long side, make a pencil mark at 5.5, rotate 180, and make a pencil mark at 3. So you'll have one pencil mark here, which is going to be the top point, and then these two are going to be the markers to create the angle for the back of the envelope. You'll then have two pieces for the sides, and we're going to make a left and a right, so you may want to mark these. These are going to be 4.5 by 5. On the left hand side, on the 4.5 inch side, score at 1/2 inch and 1.5 inches. Rotate so your score lines are towards the top and score at 1/2 inch. You're then going to rotate so that your score lines are at the bottom and mark along the top edge at 2.5 inches. So the piece will be in this orientation. This is going to be the left hand side and this is the top edge. The second piece, which is going to be the right hand side, along the 4.5 inch side, score at 3 and at 4, rotate 90 degrees and score at 4.5. So that's this score line here. Rotate so your 1/2 inch tab is on the left and your tab sections are at the bottom, and make a pencil line at 2.5 inches. So again, this one's going to be in this orientation. This is the top for the right hand side. The next piece will be the shaped edge and incorporate the base. This is 5.25 times 6. Along the 5.25 inch side, score at 1/2 and 1 5/8. Make a pencil mark at 3 5/8. Rotate 90 degrees so the score lines are at the bottom, and make a pencil mark at 3 inches and rotate 90 degrees and make a pencil mark at 1.5 inches. So you'll have the pencil mark here, which is going to be the top of the point, and then these two which show the starting points for the angles. I then have 3 strips, and these are 6.5 inches, and I've scored at each end at 1/4 inch. So we'll start with the back piece. Let's turn it round the right way up. So I've got my pencil mark at the top and my 2 pencil marks here, and I'm going to use my craft knife and ruler and cut away the top triangles to create the envelope shape. So that's the back of my envelope. I'm going to get rid of the pencil marks as we go along. To the back of the envelope, we're going to stick the sides. We'll get those ready next. So I've got my left and my right. I'm going to start by, on each one, cutting from the top of the second score line, from the outer edge down to the pencil mark. So on the left one, we'll be cutting in this direction, and on the right one, we'll be cutting in this direction. Now you decide whether you want to fold and burnish first or cut first. I'm going to fold and burnish first so I can make sure that my cut line runs from the top of the score line. So again, I'm going to use my craft knife and ruler. So I'm cutting from the top of the score line diagonally down to the front edge of the panel, like so. Take your scissors, have your piece in this orientation so the 1/2 inch tab is in front of you, and you're going to cut up each of the verticals to the horizontal score line, like so, separating the tabs. We're going to rotate and remove this bottom square, and then from each of the remaining 3 glue tabs we're going to take a wedge. So that's our left hand side, and we're now going to repeat that on the right hand side. So that's our left and our right. We'll bring in the back and we're going to add glue to the glue tab and secure the piece onto the back of the box like so, lining up the bottom corner down this point and making sure this is running nice and vertical. And we're going to do the same on this side. Add glue onto the tab. So that is how our piece is going to come together like so. We now want to add our bars in. I'm going to measure up the sides 2 5/8 of an inch and just make a pencil mark lightly. Do the same on this one, and I'm going to start by adding glue one of the 1/4 inch tabs at the end. Line this up, first one up with the score line, and make sure that the top of the strip is on or just under the pencil line. I'm then going to take my second strip, add glue onto the 1/4 inch tab, and I'm going to butt the edge of the 1/4 inch tab over to where this one is folded over. Sit it on top as it comes across so I can make sure that they're all sitting parallel, and then do the same with my last one. So that's those. Now fold out the tabs at this end like so. Make sure they're all sitting on top of one another. That will help everything stay parallel. Add glue to the glue tabs on each one, and then fold over this side, making sure it stays level at the bottom, so it's running level here. Let that side grab the glue tabs at the other end. So those tabs all sitting relatively evenly spaced on the inside like so. So that's our bars now in place. So we can now stick on our front section. Now you will note that the base section is 1/8 of an inch over 1 inch, and that is to allow for the gift card holder, the gift card, and if you want to add any Velcro dots on, which is going to be my chosen closure mechanism. So we're going to start by adding the long glue tab into place. Let's get this lined up bottom. Now obviously if you think that you will find it easier to add your bars in once the piece has come together, you can do that. You do not have to construct it in the same order as me. I just felt that this method of adding the bars in was the simplest. I just want to bring that up and just make sure that that base is sitting where it needs to. So that's all lined up at the back. We're now going to add glue onto these 4 glue tabs. I'm going to use my construction glue because that will just give me a little bit more wiggle room. Sit the 2 pieces in place so they should butt up against one another. Pull up the base. You will have a gap between the front of the base of this piece. So I'm going to work on one corner at a time. Do the same at this end. These 2 front pieces should meet. If they overlap slightly, it's not the end of the world. That's going to have pattern paper on it. My ends are lined up nicely, and then just go in and burnish down along the bottom. I can just get my score tool in and burnish down the tabs at the bottom, but that's how the piece comes together. So the pattern paper on this section will be cut from one entire piece, and that will obviously join this element together. The piece is now ready for the decoration and adding on the pattern paper and the addition of your gift card wallet and your closure. And your gift card wallet could go on this section here, so it's revealed when the piece comes down, or on this section here. If you have one of the dies that cuts the gift card slots, you can obviously cut that into the pattern paper on this piece or this piece. You might want to make a mini envelope, or you might just want to make a simple wallet. So for instance, this one is made from a piece which is 3 3/8 by 3.5. It's been scored at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. This would then be stuck in here, for instance, and the gift card would be in like so. And then we've got enough of a gap at the front to allow for that wallet and for the hook and loop. Here's the fully decorated piece. I've used Craft Consortium Ink Drops Rose to cover the pieces, and you can see that I have some hook and loop. This folds down, and then we have a gift card holder inside. With the benefit of hindsight, I think I might have preferred a mini envelope. Just be aware with your closure system, if you're using hook and loop, the positioning of your dots, because you need to obviously be able to get in and get the card out. I'll give you the sizes of the pattern paper that I've used. I would recommend, particularly when we're using angles, etc., that you maybe cut the pieces from some photocopier paper and lay that on just to check that you're happy with the look of the shape, etc. On the back piece, this was 5 3/4 by 8 1/4, marked on the 5 3/4 inch side at 2 7/8, and then these points start at 5 1/4 inches from the bottom to get this back V, and you can then use that shape to replicate the inside back, because obviously they'll be the same, although the total length of the inside back, I cut mine to 6 1/8. This section in the middle here I cut from one entire piece, and this measured 5 3/4 by 4 1/8. At 2 7/8 of an inch across, I measured up 1 3/4. So that's the point, which is obviously behind the envelope, and then cut down. But I did cut this in copier paper first just to make sure I was happy. And then for the front and the back flap, this is cut from a piece of 5 3/4 times 3 3/8, marked at 2 7/8. And then these points here come across, and the distance between here and here is 1 7/8 of an inch. Again, cut that in copy paper or scrap first to make sure you're happy with the look of the angles. I think this is a really lovely design, and similar to the box I made earlier in the week, it's a good combination of a card and a gift card holder. Ideal for Christmas, I think, because if you imagine this covered in festive paper, and on the bars you've got your foliage and your poinsettias, etc., and then your gift card inside, I think it would make a lovely overall look. So there we have today's project. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and until next time, thanks for watching.